Hello and welcome to LearningEngineer.com, where we engineer learning for efficiency. My name is Michael Langdon, and today we're going to talk about subject-verb agreement. So this is what we're going to look at. We're going to look at how does this work. We're going to look at action verbs. We're going to look at state of being verbs. We're going to look at compound subjects with the word and, compound subjects with the word or, the pronouns there and here, and we're going to talk about just other pronouns and preposition problems. So let's begin. Now if you want to see this slideshow, you can go to slides.PracticeEngineer.com. So how does this work? So singular subjects must have singular verbs, and plural subjects must have plural verbs. Now for action verbs, this only counts in third person present tense. State of being verbs, on the other hand, they must always match. So let's start with action verbs. So again, to reiterate, third person present tense. And by third person we mean he, she, it, they, Jeff, Roberta, proper names, and so on. And by present tense we mean no ed or ing ending, so no past tense. So here are some examples. So he runs, so he is the subject, runs is the verb, so when it's a singular subject as in he, you'll notice that the plural verb has an S. So he runs, she writes, Ben makes, they run, we write, Ben and Jerry make. Now, state of being verbs, here are the way it works. So she is singular, they are is plural. So is singular, are is plural. And we call these state of being verbs because oftentimes they're telling you the state of being of the subject. So you could say something like she is happy, her state of being is happiness. So we have he was, we were. So in this case it's past tense. Was is singular, were is plural. Ben has, so has is singular. Ben and Jerry have is plural. Sophia had, children had. So had is both. So had is kind of weird in that way. So when you have compound subjects connected by an and, use a plural verb. So if you have two subjects, so Jim and Mary, and if you think of and like the plus sign in math, 1 plus 1 equals 2, so therefore they're plural. So measles and influenza are two viruses that have vaccines to defend against them. So that's why it should be plural, because we do have two subjects. Bartles and James make wine coolers. Sausage, mushroom, and onions have the best flavors. GM, Ford, and Chrysler were responsible for most of the recalls in 2014. Now, compound subjects connected by an or nor use only the subject closest to the verb. So what you can kind of do is get rid of the first part and see what's going on. So here we have Mary or her sisters are going to help feed the homeless on Thanksgiving. So because sisters is plural, we use the plural verb are. The players or the coach is the reason the Wildcats have won so many games. So coach is singular, and so therefore is a singular. Now some of these don't sound right. It's simply because you're not used to hearing them. Mushrooms or pepperoni is what most people prefer on pizza. So again, pepperoni is singular. And you'll notice we don't care about anything before the or and pepperoni, just the subject. Neither Jim nor the twins were at the game. So twins is plural, so that's why it should be were. Neither the police officers nor the prosecutor was able to fully explain the charges. So in this case, prosecutor is singular, and that's why it's was. Now with the subjects there and here, when they're subjects, you have to look after the verb to determine which type to use. There are many rules for grammar, so here's there. And because many rules is plural, that's why we use are. Here is the report you asked for, so the report is singular, so is should be singular. There is one reason not to use DDT. One reason is singular, therefore it should be is. Here are the newspapers for recycling. So in this case, newspapers is plural, which is why we use the plural verb are. Pronouns. So here we have singular and plural pronouns. So everyone and everybody is singular. Many, several is plural. Someone, somebody, singular. Few, fewer, all, or both is plural. One, each is singular. They, you is plural. None, neither is singular. Most, some is plural. So let's look at this. So sometimes a prepositional phrase gets in between the subject and the verb. Ignore them to get it right. So these are your most common prepositions: of, at, in, on, over, under, for, with, by, from, to, and between. So in the case of none of the contestants was happy with the results, we get rid of the contestants. And when you get rid of the contestants, you realize that we really have a subject of none, which is zero, which would be singular, so none was happy with the results. Sometimes these don't sound right, and that's simply because you're not used to hearing them. Neither of the students is unhappy with their test scores. So in this case, we get rid of the students, and we find that we have a zero again. It's neither, so that's why it's is. One of the drugs in the clinical trials is going to work. So we get rid of the drugs in the clinical trials. So one is going to work. One is singular, is a singular. And that's it for subject-verb agreement. So remember, when you have a singular subject, you need a singular verb, and when you have a plural subject, you have a plural verb with action verbs. It's just in third-person present tense. The minute you go to past tense, you don't have to worry about any of that. The big one is for the state of being verbs, and these are is, are, were, was, have, has, had. Those have to be plural or singular no matter what the tense. So that's it. Have a good day. Bye.